Good evening, and welcome to the Space Jam. I am the Invisible Gunslinger #1, and this is a wonderful game. This is Solar 2. Man, I gotta say, this is one of my favorite games of all time, and I know that's making a very bold statement, but this game is just fun. It's fun and addicting, and it has my complete respect. Reason being is because it was made by one man, Mr. J. Watts, and he did such a good job of making it entertaining, funny, and addicting. What else do you want? Now, this game follows in the spiritual footsteps of games like Katamari, We Heart Katamari, Katamari Forever, and to a lesser extent, The Wonderful End of the World, but we don't talk about that game. But it is all about adding mass to yourself. You add mass to your humble beginnings. You start off very small, very tiny. You're like a third grader. You're very small, but then eventually you eat more food. You stick mass onto your ever-growing, ever-changing, and yet ever-natural body, and then eventually you become the biggest asshole in the universe, and then you kill everything, just like real life. It doesn't get any better than that. So let's jump into it, and I'll show you why I love this game so much. Now, you start off as a tiny asteroid with a meager mass of 2. Now, you see that asteroid is far too big for me to bump into and add to my own mass. So we're going to try to, there we go. The beginning of this game is quite simple. You just run around, float around, and try to find more mass to add to yourself. This game is really good for atmosphere. Solar 2. That's the only little bit of dialogue that will be imprinted upon the universe. Now, this universe, as far as I'm aware, goes on forever. Forever. You can hold down the arrow key and you will always be able to find new content. And ooh, don't run into that. That star would have fucked my day up right well and good. Ah, dang it. I didn't want to run into those guys quite yet. Okay. In case you don't know, this game does actually have death, dismemberment, and assholes. And these assholes are probably the assiest of assholes, because he immediately killed me. He one-shot killed me, and I respawned as a small asteroid again. Now, those white ships do not have any particular allegiance to any celestial body. Sometimes ships will pledge their allegiance to their life planet. Other times they'll pledge allegiance to me because I am their life planet. But if their planet gets destroyed, then they will become rogue ships and just float around the universe and just destroy everything. Because what's the point of living a nice, happy life? There is none. Oof. Now that is a planet. We're trying to become as big as that planet. Another nice thing about this game is it gives you aspirations. It makes you wish. It makes you wish that you could become that planet that just killed you. That starship that just obliterated me in one shot, I can own him one day through my own hard work. Now I'm a pretty chunky asteroid. We're getting there. And now, lo and behold, we are a small planet. And if you add more mass to yourself, now we actually have an orbit. Once you have an orbit, you can add even more mass to yourself. And it becomes this really nice, comforting kind of game of, I want to just find more stuff. I want to find more resources to add on to myself. And it's not all of these will be able to just get into your orbit. Well, some of them will. Most of them will. You can just absorb it. You don't have to absorb it. You can just have a whole bunch of asteroids floating around you if you want. Let's see how many I can get. It's also really relaxing. This is a game that I would highly recommend to anybody who has like a really stressful job. They just want to come home and do something calm and relaxing and just watch the orbits. The music is pretty atmospheric too. It's a little weird sometimes, but it kind of gives you that sense of wonderment, like, wow, space, man. Damn. Look at this. Look at all that space junk just floating around. Oh, hey, come back. No, you were once part of me. You must always be a part of me. Get the fuck back here. There we go. Now, once you become this big, a life planet, you can't just willy-nilly bump into things. You can't just go, I'm gonna bump into that asteroid like I was when I was a small asteroid. Because doing that will cause you to slam into it at terminal velocity and you will lose mass. Now it becomes this very polite, a gentleman's game of, sir, would you like to be part of my orbit? Yes, I would. Then I can now request that you join my mass, and I can absorb it. Oh no, not those guys again. But if you lose enough mass, you will just eventually die, and you have to start all over again. So it's this wonderful, it's almost like a resource management game where at first you start off with mass, you want to add mass, but now you can't just add mass by bumping into mass. Now you need to be a nice, gentle recruitment of mass. But you don't just have to do that. Once you get to be a life planet, then things get interesting. And this is all just kind of a Cliff's Note version of this game. There is actually a story mode, which we will be going through, which is the highlight of the game. As fun as it is to just kind of float around and add... Oh, God. Don't mess around with that. That is an enemy life planet, and enemy life planets are much more dangerous than just the rogue space pirates, I'm going to deem them. They don't really... They're not on a quest for anything. You know what? No, they're not space pirates. They're space anarchists, those white ships, because they don't give a fuck. Oh, by the way, this is how long evolution takes. You can see that bar in the upper left-hand corner. Evolution doesn't take millions of years. It takes like 45 seconds. The music can occasionally get a little bit repetitive. That is one negative on this game's part. When it's this kind of in your face about like, observe space. Sometimes you do just want to put on your own ambient music. Aha. Now because we've developed life on our life planet, the life, for some reason, decides that they want to go into space and defend their home planet. And now you can actually get kills with your life planet. We do have a shield, and we do have gun turrets. You see those little white things on my planet that are kind of sticking off like acne? That acne is giant, like they must be a mile high, nearly a mile high, galactic space guns that you can use to fuck people's shit up. Now I believe the more ships that you kill, the more kills you get on your kill experience bar, the more ships that, or the more gigantic gun turrets that your planet will add to defend itself. And now we can watch our wonderful little ships. Ooh, don't mess around with that thing. That beetle-like thing that's coming towards my planet is like a star killer. That thing has very deadly lasers. We do not want to mess around with that right now. That is way above us. Thankfully, the AI in this ranges from harshly intelligent to pathetically stupid. For example, my one ship crashed into me, which I can't really blame it. Okay. Let's kill the life. This is another awesome thing, is you can kill life on their planet so they'll stop being a problem by either bumping into them or using asteroids to bump into them. See, now their shields are gone, but he's getting an asteroid. Now they've killed all the life on my life planet. I'm still a life planet, so I'll develop life, but that race that defended us before is gone. They're dead. Extinct. Those space dinosaurs will never help us again. Now, if they were to shoot us enough times, they would actually kill us. We don't want that. Just like in real life, we want to stay alive as long as possible. Alright. And just like in real life, we want to have friends that will orbit around us until they eventually trust us enough to absorb them into our bodies. Peacefully. So we can develop life, that's all. That's what getting a husband is, isn't it? You try to find as many people to orbit around you until you find that really special one that will trust you enough to have you absorb them into your body and create life. Welcome to Gunslinger's version of the birds and the bees. It's a little bit more different from what the government's told. Oh, don't go into that. Now, this game has a don't destroy that. I need that. Jeez. That's unfortunately another negative, is the life that we seem to develop is extraordinarily aggressive and not all that bright. So we seem to be developing a life from, we've developed the planet of the apes, that's all it is. All apes are created equal, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. Oh, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius. We got asteroids floating around space. What are we gonna do? I don't know. I can't sing. Can you, Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius? Dr. Zaius? Oh, space pirates. Space anarchists. Oh. I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. God bless you, Phil Hartman. We'll miss you so. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw all the life in my life planet into that nuclear furnace of that sun over there in dedication to Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman, I'm killing all my life on my life planet in your memory. Alright, well, I just kind of bounced off of that. That's what'll happen if our planet, Earth, bumps into a sun. We'll just kind of lose our shield, bump off of it, and keep going. And that's another awesome thing about this game, is you don't have to be orbiting a star to develop life. We can just... Why can't we develop life on Pluto? I don't know. Because it's too far away from the sun? Solar 2 tells us we can. As long as we avoid space anarchists, why not? Let's just keep going. I want to get to a small star, so I can show you the advanced mechanics around that. That's another really good thing this game does, is it mixes it up. You don't just keep hitting things and absorbing mass like we were when we were an asteroid. Once we developed a planet, it creates a deeper layer of gameplay, where now it's about, it's almost like resource management. Now we can have asteroids absorb, not absorb, well, we can absorb them, but we can have them orbit around us, and that's kind of another line of defense. But our ships now have to dodge the asteroids if they want to leave the orbit of our life planet, but they're an extra line of defense against other planets. And that just looks cool. I really, really like how each individual asteroid will absorb, I keep getting those two words mixed up, will orbit at different speeds. It really teaches us about momentum. This would be a great game for a kid just learning. As a matter of fact, if I was a science teacher, if I was a teacher in like 3rd or 4th grade, I would have this installed on every child's computer, tablet, whatever the hell these stupid kids have nowadays. Oh, I remember back in the days where all I had was the Oregon Trail and math blasters in 3rd grade. I remember my 3rd grade teacher could type like 40 words a minute, and I was so impressed because I could not type more than 10 words a minute. I was like, how the hell do you do that, Mrs. Dunbar? That was her name, Dunbar. Ugh. So let's absorb all of this mass into ourselves for Mrs. Dunbar's sake, and we will become a small star. We will, as a matter of fact, if I was the life on this life planet, I would want to kill all the asteroids surrounding my planet, because if you absorb enough mass, all the life will be destroyed. Now you see that one ship that used to be tied to my planet, the life planet, is now a rogue anarchist. It has lost all meaning and purpose in life because its homeworld was absorbed, or was thrown into nuclear fire and is now a star. I'd be pretty pissed too. I'm sorry. Frickin' Planet of the Apes. There we go. Alright, now, because we're a small star, we can actually have planets surround us. And now the game gets even deeper, to the point where now the planets that are orbiting us can get their own orbits. Isn't that interesting? And if you make this planet big enough, it itself will turn into a life planet, and then if it gets big enough from that, it will become a star, and you can have a double star helix. This game is amazing, and I'll show you a little bit more why in the next episode.